questions are over. So, Dr. Alakesh Ganguly is currently the East Zonal representative of Glaucoma Society of India. He's a senior glaucoma consultant at Premvada Villa Arvind Eye Hospital and trained at Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai.
Thank you, Manish. A very good afternoon to you all. Today, at the very outset, I must thank Dr. Manish for inviting me to be a part of this instruction course. I'll be speaking today to you on microinvasive glaucoma surgery procedures. So, the following procedures I'll be speaking about, the first is the trabectome, next is the eye stent, then the CyPass micro stent, and the Zen implant. Coming to the first, the trabectome. The trabectome is a procedure by means of which about 90 to 120 degrees of the trabecular meshwork tissue is disrupted, and the idea is to expose the collector channels to the aqueous so that it gets a direct access to the collector channels. It is shown to increase the outflow of the aqueous from the anterior chamber. It uses a very high frequency electrosurgical tip, and studies have shown that the intraocular pressure reduction is about 23% in primary open angle glaucoma patients. So here we are sharing with you a small video clip of how the trabectome surgery is done, courtesy Dr. Aiki Ahmed. A Kepes lens is being used on table to facilitate the view of the trabecular meshwork. Coming to the eye stent, it's a titanium stent which is implanted into the Schlemm's canal via the trabecular meshwork by a specifically designed manipulator. It has got a lumen, and that lumen opens into a de-roofed structure, and there are retention arches on it to fix it and prevent it from migrating from the trabecular meshwork. Again, some studies have shown up to 22% reduction in intraocular pressure after the implant in 18 months' time. And multiple implantations have been done in some studies where 30% reduction has been shown after 2 implants extending up to 6 months of time, and 40% reduction in the intraocular pressure after 3 implants in 6 months' time. So these are the pictures of the eye stent. Here you can see a schematic diagram of the eye stent, and these are 2 eye stents which are usually implanted about 3 clock hours apart from each other. Another small video we'll share with you of the implantation of the eye stent. This is the implantation technique with a direct observation Kepes lens, and a slight angulation of the implantation is required to track it into the trabecular meshwork. In some cases, you may observe some active bleeding from the Schlemm's canal. And after withdrawal, that is the eye stent in situ. So coming to the CyPass shunt, it's a supraciliary device. It creates an outflow pathway to the suprachoroidal space. It's about a 6.5 to 7 millimeter long tube with an outer diameter of 0.5. It's made up of polyamide material. It is inserted on a small guide wire with a special tip that separates the iris from the scleral spur. The device is inserted into the cleft that is created. Studies have shown that the intraocular pressure reduction has been up to 34% by 12 months' time. So there is again a small video of the CyPass insertion into the cleft between the scleral spur and the iris root. The structure of the device ensures that it follows the curvature of the globe. But amongst all these procedures, there have been a few considerations where for some time the approval has been taken back for issues relating to the endothelial count in the cornea after implantation of these devices. And the European Glaucoma Society says that there is not enough data to support their efficacy and safety, and therefore is not endorsed. We'll share another video of a canaloplasty. Here a deep scleral flap is raised and a light emitting diode tipped instrument is inserted into the Schlemm's canal. As it advances through the Schlemm's canal, the surgeon can see that it's on track and follows 360 degree round. It's taken out. The Schlemm's canal is exposed by means of this, and the flap is closed. Coming to the mini express mini shunt, it's a stainless steel device which helps in augmenting our conventional trap keratectomy. It has got, however, cost issues, at least in our country. It ensures earlier visual recovery, and the main consideration here is perhaps the less hypotomy that it claims to create. Is the device insertion instead of the sclerostomy that we do. This device is inserted there and the flap is closed on top of that. So obviously there is a lot to choose from, but till that time that these devices are perfected and a greater role these devices can play in our scenario, and specifically the limitation of these devices in the angle closure components of the glaucoma that we see more in our country, we should look at these developments with a hopeful eye and wait for perhaps a much more viable option in microsurgical glaucoma surgical devices. Thank you.